Hello and welcome to this hip opening yoga flow. Before we get started, just a disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, so please consult with your healthcare provider if you are starting any new exercise program. And also, before we get going, please listen to your body. So if anything doesn't feel good or if you're experiencing any pain or discomfort in poses, exercise or any kind of moments or positions, then please just take a step back. I also would like to mention that it's never fun when you're pushing yourself too hard. So again, please try to avoid anything that might take away your enjoyment of exercise, yoga or anything else like that. And before we get going, if you have a tea or a water nearby, then please have regular sips of water as and when you need. So there should be a playlist next to the video. So if you'd like to practice with some music, then hit play in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I have 2 bricks with me, and if you'd like to practice with props, then please gather anything nearby. And I'm just going to swivel myself onto my sit bones. So working with hips today, we're going to be probably about 25-minute class. So wanting to get straight into the hips, opening and strengthening as well. If you find that in our seated cross-legged position, you find that your tailbone is collapsing onto the ground, then I would definitely recommend threading a block underneath your sit bone, just so that you have a little bit of elevation here through the lower back and the sacrum, and we're just lifting and tilting the pelvis forward slightly. So bringing the soles of the feet together, so we're coming into a froggy pose. And also it's quite nice to have a block underneath your sit bones just to get the hips a little bit higher and perhaps even in line with the knees. Obviously, if you're someone who's got completely open hips, and you won't have to worry about sitting on a block. And by open hips, I mean knees on the ground. Lovely. So wherever you are, bring the soles of the feet together. If it feels better, you can walk the feet as far forward as possible, if that's nice and comfortable, but you're also feeling a good stretch. Otherwise, if you have plenty of space, and you're not really feeling it much, then you can bring the soles of the feet right up close, more of an Ashtanga style froggy pose. So bringing the hands to the soles of the feet and just gently drawing the chest and shoulders forward. See if you can pull the shoulders away from the ears. So this is really nice and active. I'm actually going to walk my feet just a fraction further forward. Lovely. And then from here, we're just going to start to close down the eyes or lower the gaze if that feels better. And start to tune into the breath. So breathing in through the nose, holding at the top, and a long exhale. Lovely. Take a few more breaths here. On your next inhale, see if you can start to lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, soften the shoulders. Beautiful. Breathing in, lifting the crown of the head taller, closer to the ceiling. Exhale, we soften the shoulders and soften the jaw. Start to lift up your pelvic floor muscles, your Mula Bandha, breathing in through the nose. And then as you exhale, feel the pelvic floor lifting, feel your core contracting. Uddiyana Bandha engaged. So we have the pelvic floor, the Mula Bandha starting to close. And then we lift up that contraction, that feeling, all the way up towards the core, the Uddiyana Bandha. And then we feel the core gently wrapping. Lovely. And then just starting to tuck the chin. So imagine you have an orange between your chin and your chest. And then from here, if you have a little bit more space, then just start to walk the hands forward over that front foot, dropping the head. Rounding through the spine. As you inhale, find a little halfway lift. And then exhale, round back down. Draw the forehead towards the toes. Beautiful. And then start to bring yourself back up to find a seated position. So I'm just going to change the feet slightly. So we're getting the right leg in front of the left leg, coming into a seated cross-legged position, and then shimmying the feet so that they're more in line with the knees. Now from here, we're going to create a square position with the shins. So walk the feet a little bit further away. Quite weird, but just closing the thighs a little bit closer together. So from here, we're going to reach the right hand away and the left hand up and over, coming into a nice side stretch. Once you're in the side stretch, see if you can get that upper arm and the elbow just to reach away behind, and just see that the arm is slowly coming out of your eye shot, your peripheral vision. Rotating the chest round and then softening both shoulders. Hold it for 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Send your gaze back down to the floor. And then inhale, bring yourself up and over. From here, we're going to bring the left hand towards the right knee, the right hand round, and then coming into a seated twist. Gaze behind, take a deep breath in. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, see if you can deepen that twist. Lovely. Gently release, come back round to the front. Changing legs over, left leg in front, right leg behind. Square the shins, they're nice and straight in front of you. And then shimmy the ankles so that they're in line with both knees. Reach the left hand away. Inhale, reach the right arm high. And then once you're there, send that elbow behind, lean back, and then soften the shoulders. Breathing in through the nose. Exhaling. Beautiful. 2 more breaths. Send your gaze to the floor. Inhale, come back up. Lovely. Right hand comes to the outside edge of the left leg. Left hand behind the back. Inhale to lift up nice and tall through the spine. Press down through that left hand. And then send your gaze behind that left shoulder. Holding it here, breathing in. Exhale, breathing out. Lovely. Come back to the center. If you're sitting on a block, then just start to move the block to one side, coming off. And then we're going to bring our feet to hip width distance, wider than hip width distance. And then we're just going to start to windscreen wipe with the knees. So allowing the knees to drop over to the right. And then up and over to the left. Oh, that feels good. And try not to sink too much into the shoulders, so lifting up the chest. And then you can also go at your own pace. So if you find actually you want to go a little bit faster, it doesn't feel too good to sit in it, then please do that. Otherwise, if you think, oh, actually no, I can go a little bit slower and really enjoy this, then feel free. Lovely. Let's see if we can get 2 more. And if you're finished, we're going to keep the right knee open and the left knee closed. And then coming into a stag position. So just lifting yourself onto your 2 sit bones. Shimmy your right shin so that it's square to the top of the mat. Left, if you look behind, is in line with the long side of the mat. We're going to come and face over this front leg and coming into a forward fold. Now, this is the beauty of this pose. Really, actually, every pose in yoga has the ability to be molded and changed. But we're going to come into a forward fold. And when you come into the forward fold, feel free to explore the different angles in which you can experience this stretch. Now, of course, our reaction is to go forward straight away and just drop the head. But you're also welcome to maybe go off to the left. See how that feels in the glute. I definitely find this a lot more intense. But if you're wanting to go over to the other side, then you can walk over to the right and see how that feels. And we just get into different angles of the glutes or the back. And my advice would be to stick with the angle that maybe feels more challenging, as there might be an area where it needs a bit of TLC. Let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, send the breath down towards that glute. Breathing in. Send the breath down to that area that you're finding the stretch. One more breath. Really allow the shoulders to soften. Lovely. And we're going to come up. So coming back up onto your hands, lifting up the chest and the shoulders. So with every hip opening sequence, it's great that we have open hips. We also really want to have strong hips. So we're just going to do a little bit of pulses here, just to really strengthen the areas around the hips. So with the front leg, we're just going to see if we can lift up that ankle, lifting up and then lowering down. So you can also use the hands here. So lifting for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Perfect. So reaching forward, seeing if you can get onto that right hip bone. And I don't have a huge amount of internal rotation left here, but if you do, then see how it feels just to start to lift up this left ankle, but keeping the knee as close to the ground as possible. So lifting and lower. For 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Perfect. I think I meant external rotation, not internal. So from here, we're going to go to the back foot on the left leg, and we're just going to start to lift up that ankle. So you might find this challenging if you're the opposite to me. So this part might have been a bit more easier for you than this part. But that's fine, we're all very different. So we're going to lift up that back ankle and then lower down. For 2, lovely. For 3, for 4, and for 5. And then with the knee, we're going to lift up the knee and the ankle for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and 5. Beautiful. Lift yourself back to the center, and then we go over straight away to the other side. So left leg in front, shimmy your legs so that you've got that nice position again. I actually use blocks, so I'm just going to bring those around to the front with me. And then from here, we are going to go into our forward fold straight away. So walking the hands over, either coming onto the elbows or staying on the hands. Now, our bodies aren't always, well, I don't think anyone has a body which is exactly the same on the left and on the right. So because of that, we are going to be nice and open and kind to our body, but it might also mean that this feels completely different on the other side. It might feel slightly worse. Maybe you are a lot tighter, and that's absolutely fine. Or you might actually feel that a different angle works better. So that's fine. Just be open to explore and have a little play around. And let's hold it here for just a few more breaths. When you're ready, come back up onto your hands. And we're going to go straight in with the pulses. So bringing the hands down, leaning back slightly, lifting up the knee and the ankle of the front leg. For 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Lovely. And then from here, we're just going to isolate it. So we're going to see if we can just lift up the front ankle. So for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and 5. Lovely. Coming around to the back leg, isolating the back ankle, lifting that leg up for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and 5. And then we lift up the knee and the ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Beautiful. Shimmy yourselves back round to the long edge of the mat, and we're going to extend both of the legs, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So we're going to come back into this towards the end of the practice. So we're just going to experience how this feels, maybe take a mental note. So flexing the toes, lifting up the kneecaps, engaging through the quads. And then again, you are welcome to thread a block under your tailbone just to give yourself a little bit of elevation. Start to reach the hands forward, coming into something that feels comfortable. And you can bring the forearms down. You can use the props under the forearms. Or you can even use the 2 bricks. Let's take a deep breath in. And then exhaling. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Really nice. Okay, coming back up onto your hands. Blocks will be beneficial if you have them. If you don't have them, you are able to do this anyway. It just makes it a little bit easier. So bringing the blocks either side of this right leg, and we're just going to come into a forward fold. Now, flexing the feet will start to contract the muscles in the legs. So pointing as well does the same. Pointing or flexing, so just decide which one feels best for you. And we're going to just push into the blocks. So we round through the spine, almost like we're getting punched in the stomach, which isn't a nice thing to think about, but just rounding through the spine and start to feel the core wrapping around. From here, we're just going to float up this right knee, float. We're going to pulse. So lifting that right leg. Lovely, and then bringing it straight back down. We're going to do 4 more of those. Lift, lower. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Come back into a forward fold. And we're just going to do a little bit of a lift, which is why the blocks here are quite handy. Lifting the tailbone. If you want to, you can lift one leg, maybe the back leg, alternating, or maybe both legs. And then slowly lower the sit bones down. Lovely. Give the hips a little slap. Thighs. moving around. Somehow I got dust on me and I'm not sure where that's from. Anyway, flexing the toes or pointing the toes, coming into a gentle forward fold. Feel that wrapping of the spine, wrap, wrap, wrap. And then we're going to pulse that left leg for 1, for 2, for 3, around the spine, 4, and 5. Lovely, come back into a gentle forward fold. And then from here, pressing your hands into the mat or a block. And then maybe you lift that front leg. Maybe you alternate, lifting the back leg. Maybe both legs. And then lowering down. Lovely, give the hips a little slap. Perfect. So from here, we're going to shimmy ourselves round to the front of the mat, crossing the legs and finding our downward facing dog. So just check in with the feet, make sure that they're nice and hip width distance. Soft bend through the knees, maybe pedaling out the legs. Spreading your fingers. And then also press a little bit of weight into your fingers here as well, so that you just take some pressure off of the wrists. Let your gaze drop towards your navel. And then from here, inhale, lift onto your tiptoes. And then exhale, lower the heels. Inhale, bring yourselves over to find a high plank. Dropping the knees, lower the chest down. Inhale to find cobra, wrap the elbows behind, press the toes into the mat, and maybe you hover the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then sending it back to child's pose, and then straight back to downward facing dog. Lovely, we're gonna do one more of those. If you want to have a full chaturanga, you're more than welcome. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. If you're going full chaturanga, you're welcome to go into up dog, opening through the chest. And then exhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, we reach the right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, we bend the knee, open the hip. And maybe you find that top toe underneath your left armpit. Bring both knees together. We're going to do a big circle with that top leg. For 1. Lovely. For 2. And 3. We hold it in our split dog. And then bringing the knee to the nose. Gently plant the foot. Stay in our low lunge, reach that right hand high to the sky for easy twist. And then from here, we're gonna reach that hand away, nice big circle with the arms, or that top arm. 2 more of those, exhaling round. Inhale, reach it forward. Exhale to the back. Inhale, reach it forward. This time, we're gonna come into Shiva's twist. So pivoting onto the knife edges of your feet, reach the fingers to the back of the room. Now, it's really easy just to sink into that left shoulder, but see if you can lift up and out, but also lower the hips down. So you've got activation here, not only through the transverse abdominals, but your shoulders and your lats. Inhale, reach that back arm back round to the front, and we're going to come into Skandasana, so a nice deep hip opener. Now, if this is too low, then come to modified, which is where you come up and you just transfer and bend into both knees. Otherwise, coming into Skandasana, crouching tiger, reaching the hands forward, and we're going to transfer all the way over to that left leg. You can go hands free or you can walk the hands across. Lifting up nice and tall, take a deep breath in. Exhaling out. Lovely. Come around up to the center, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, Prasarita Padottanasana. So fingertips in line with the toes. Wrapping the elbows in. Think about chaturanga arms, lifting up the kneecaps. Feel the crown of the head reaching down towards the ground. Play around with the weight, see if you can transfer some weight into the balls of the feet. Lovely, and don't forget to keep lifting and engaging through the fronts of the legs. From here, bring a slight bend into the knees, hands to the hips, and then inhale up to standing. We're going to turn the right toes forward, and then coming into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2, opening up the arms. Take a deep breath in, and then soften the shoulders, deepen into that front leg. Inhale, we're going to bring the hands together and lengthen through that front leg. Exhale down. Lovely, inhale to lift. Exhale down. One more of those, breathing in, lengthen. Exhale down. From here, we're going to come into our extended side angle. So that right forearm comes onto the right thigh. We circle that left arm up and over, reaching the fingers to the corner of the room, and feel yourself lifting up out of that hip. So really reach forward, and there's a beautiful line traveling from the edge of your back foot all the way through the side of the body and up through the left fingertips. Lovely. Try not to put too much weight into that right shoulder. And of course, if you have any other variations, you can bring that hand down to the floor or to a brick. Send your gaze up to the ceiling, one more breath. Maybe there's a bind. Beautiful, gently release. Hands come down to the floor. We're going to lower the back leg onto the mat. And then coming into a kneeling position. From the kneeling position, we're just going to slide this left shin to the side of the room. Now you might want to have a quick look at the screen just to see what I'm doing. So the front foot stays forward, very much like our Warrior Two, but the back leg is facing the side. So from here, bringing the hands to the hips, we're just going to slowly deepen into that front lunge. Find a nice stretch. You can also open the arms here if that feels good. And then lengthen. Exhale down. Inhale to lift. Last one, exhale down. Inhale, lift. Lovely. Bring your hands to your hips. A little bit of a challenge. I'm actually going to use a block as something to hold on to, a bit like a chair. And we're just going to start to lengthen that right leg, but internally rotate that hip. So the knee is now pointing forward, or forward towards the camera. So from here, we're just going to start to lift that right leg and then lowering it down. For 5, for 4, for 3, beautiful, keep lifting the chest, for 2, and for 1. Ground that heel down, and then from here, both the toes and the knee is pointing forward. We're going to slide that right hand onto the right leg, and then reach that left arm up and over. Beautiful, one more breath. And then from here, shimmy. Shimmy is the word of this class, I feel like. Bring yourself back round to the front, but keeping that right leg extended, and then just bringing that left calf in line. So we're back facing forward. We're just going to do a nice little half Hanumanasana, just to really get into the hamstrings before we go to the other side. So bringing the hands to the hips, inhale, nice long spine, and then exhale, forward fold. One more breath. If you have full splits, you're welcome just to wiggle yourself into a deeper position. Lovely, and then rebend into that front leg. Frame your right foot, lift up your back knee, palms to the mat, send it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale down, your variation of vinyasa. Opening through the chest, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely, breathing in to arrive. Exhale to release. Inhale, the left leg goes high to the sky. Bending the knee, open the hip. Nice big circle, knees come together. Inhale, we open. Exhale, close. Lovely opening. And then one more of those. Extend that leg, draw the knee down to the nose. We're going to place the foot between the hands and then coming into that easy twist. So you peel that left arm up to the ceiling. Nice big circle to the back of the room. Exhaling the arm away. Inhale, reach it forward. Exhale away. Inhale forward. I like to rock with the feet as well. Breathing it forward. Now this time, coming into that Shiva's twist, so we pivot round onto the edges of our feet, reaching the fingers away. Lift up into the chest and the shoulders. One more breath. And then starting the movement with the arms. So we reach that arm to the back of the room, up into a big semicircle, and then we come all the way around to the other side. I'm now facing away from you. Skandasana. Lovely, I'm just going to spin myself around so you can see me. Skandasana. Lovely, breathing in. And then transferring the weight. Lovely, one more breath here. And then coming into your Prasarita Padottanasana. So back up to standing, lengthen both legs. And this time, we're just going to come into a nice twisted Prasarita. So you can also use the blocks as well. Depending on the settings, that's absolutely fine. It all varies for everyone, and especially with how your hamstrings are. So block or no block, whatever feels good. Bring the right hand to the center of the block. As you inhale, reach that left arm high to the sky. Now from here, you might stay in this position if this feels good. Otherwise, if you have a little bit more space, you can just start to wrap that left arm behind your back and grab hold of your right hip. If you want to deepen even further, you can start to reach that right hand towards the ankle. And then maybe you start to really open the chest and lift the gaze up to the ceiling. If you have a little bit more space, you can start to really forward fold over that left leg. Beautiful. We're going to unravel and come to find forward fold. Both hands to the floor under the shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Left hand to the center. Inhale, reach that right arm high. And then exhale, wrap that arm behind, open the chest. Taking it in stages. Maybe you start to reach towards that right ankle and grab hold. And then the last option is coming into a forward fold over that right leg. Breathe in here. Exhale. Lovely. Releasing the arms, come back to the center. From here, bringing your hands to your hips, soft bend through the knees, and then coming up to standing with a long spine. Beautiful. Opening out the left foot, bring a nice deep bend into that left knee, and then extending the arms, Virabhadrasana 2. As you inhale, reach the arms high, and then exhale, come down. Maybe you have a slightly deeper bend. 2 more of those, breathing in. Exhale down. Inhale to lift and reach. Exhale, lower. Lower that left arm down, circling the right arm up and over. And then following the gaze of your elbow crease, watch that arm reach behind you. And then really start to tune into that line on the right-hand side of your body. From the side of your right foot all the way to the tips of your right hand. One more breath. Beautiful. And we're going to lower the back knee, pivoting our hips around, coming to find low lunge. And then from here, turning that leg inside. So we come to this position where our hips and right thigh are facing the side, but the left toe and the left knee is pointing forward, just like our warrior two. So the hands come to the hips, start to sink in to that left leg, and then inhale, come up. And you're welcome to extend your arms again. Exhale down. And lift for 3. Beautiful. For 4. And then last one, 5. From here, if you use the block or a chair, just bring that back round to the side. Left hand comes to the hips. Feel that thigh rotate so it's facing forward. And we're just going to hover that leg up so we start to strengthen through the hips again. Lovely. Let's go for 5. Let's go for 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Beautiful. Ground that left foot down, toes pointing forward. Press into the knife edge of that left foot. And we're going to slide that left hand down the leg. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over and come into a really nice deep side bend. And keep both shoulders soft away from the ears. Wonderful. Okay, coming back up to the center. Circling ourselves round, so you can use your hands here. Left foot points forward, roll that knee so the hips and everything is nice and square. And we're going to come into our Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. So hands to the hips, or you can reach the hands down to the floor or to that left thigh. Lifting up nice and tall through the spine, flexing the left toes, and then hinging from the hips. Again, let's see if we can imagine that we have an orange between our chin and our chest. So really nice long back of the neck. And if you have a full Hanumanasana and you went into it on the other side, then just start to wiggle yourself down. One more breath here. Exhaling. Lovely. Start to bring a bend back into this left leg. We're going to frame the left foot, floating the left leg high to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, find your plank. Exhale, lower down. Chaturanga or Vinyasa, knees, chest, chin. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften through the knees. And we're just gonna either jump or step into a cross-legged position, lowering the hips down to the floor. Bringing your feet to hip width distance, and then just gently placing the hands under the knees. We're going to round through the spine, and then from here, coming onto the tip toes. So taking the majority of the weight off of the legs. Lovely. From here, we're going to let go of the thighs, palms face the ceiling, and then just floating the legs up. Bring the legs together. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on to the thighs, lifting the chest up, and then we're in a nice long spine now. And we're going to come into Navasana, boat pose. So reach the arms up, same position as before, but we just got a different positioning through the spine. An option here is you can extend the legs, maybe even reach the arms above the head. For 5, 4, 3, lifting for 3, extra count, and 1. Bring the knees into the chest. Beautiful. So we're going to come back into that wide-legged forward fold, just to see if we feel any difference compared to the beginning of the class when we first did this. So if you want to, again, you can make this passive, like a yin pose, grabbing a couple of blocks or a bolster, And just rounding through the spine, dropping the head down. You can also thread the blocks under the knees, just so there's a bit of support. And then walk the hands down, dropping the head. So that is option one. If you want to keep it active, flex the feet, lift the kneecaps, nice long spine. Again, if your tailbone is touching the floor, thread a block underneath your two sit bones just to give you a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a helping hand. And then we're going to reach for a forward fold. So you can also wrap your two peace fingers around your big toes. Otherwise, if that's not comfortable, you can place your hands gently on your legs, reach them forward, or place it under your shoulders. So wherever you are, we really want to have this sense of opening through the chest. The legs are nice and active, gently tucking the chin. Of course, if you're going for the yin pose, just round through the spine and keep it nice and calm and soft. But for the active ones, we really want to feel this sense of lifting up and out of our sit bones, reaching the crown of the head forward, opening through the chest, and reaching the chest forward and down. Let's go for one more breath. Beautiful. On your next inhale, bring yourself up to seated. And we just have one more pose on both legs. And then we're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So spin yourselves round onto all fours. Bring your hands under your shoulders. And we're just going to scoop the right knee into the chest and then tucking it around. So we're crossing our legs. See if you can shimmy the thighs nice and close together and then open the calves away from each other to make space for your hips. I'm going to demonstrate with the yoga brick. So I'm just placing the block under my sit bones just to give my hips a bit more space. If this doesn't feel comfortable, then you can extend the underneath leg. And of course, you don't need the brick if it feels comfortable without it. So just giving plenty of options. From here, just make sure that both sit bones are touching the floor. If they're not, use the brick. Lifting up nice and tall, start to reach the fingertips away, dropping the head slightly. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, just reaching the chest down, forward fold. One more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, bring yourself up. We're going to crawl back to all fours. Hands come forward, bring the knee to the chest, and then back to all fours. As you inhale, arch the spine, lift your gaze to the ceiling, and then exhale, we round through the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, bring the left knee up, tucking it around. Same as before, have a little play around, see what feels good or what doesn't feel good. Feel free to use books. If you don't have a prop, make sure both sit bones are firmly touching the floor. Reach the fingertips away. So they're just about touching the floor, but they're also as far away from you as possible. So you really feel this opening through the chest. Lovely. Gentle tuck of the chin, take a deep breath in. And then from here, little forward fold. Keep reaching the fingers away from you. 2 more breaths. Really nice. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up to seated. Move the brick away from you. Unravel your legs, bringing them out in front of you. Shimmy yourself. Oh my gosh, it's there again. I said it. From here, extend the legs, reach the fingertips forward. We're going to round through the spine, just a little bit of core activation before we completely switch off. Nice and slowly, rolling the chest all the way down to the floor. And then once you're there, drop the arms, let the palms face up to the ceiling. Rolling the thighs out to the side. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Gentle sigh. Starting to bring awareness back into your breath. Noticing the temperature in the room, the clothes on your skin, the sounds all around you, and the background noises. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly make your way up to find a seated position. Crossing the legs or kneeling, whatever feels comfortable. Gently resting the hands on your lap. Bringing the palms together, press the thumbs into the heart space, and take a moment to offer up some gratitude for your practice. And offering some gratitude, perhaps being grateful for someone in your life. Lifting the corners of your mouth into a smile, bowing the head. Thank you so much for practicing.